I'm 2 years ahead on my 5-year goal apparently. Killing it. Yeah, I don't think it would be easy, but it was kind of hard. I was really grumpy and stressed. I gotta sit down. I survived. I'm still here. Hi, welcome to my living room. Today's gonna be a long, chatty video, so like, settle in. Wait, I didn't even introduce myself. Hi, I'm iamvanille. I'm a composer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a producer, and I just finished scoring my first ever feature film, which is crazy. So I wanted to talk about how I got that gig and what it was like and all the ups and downs and the process. So that if you are interested in the film music world, you can get a sense of what that life is like. Before we go further, I want to show you guys some of the tracks that I made for the movie so that you can know what I'm talking about. So I got this gig on a Facebook group, which is wild, but which is honestly where I got a lot of my gigs when I was starting out. It's just a Canadian Facebook group where people look for camera people, gaffers, and sometimes they look for composers. Evan, the director, had posted on that group saying, oh, we're looking for composers for an indie film. These are the references, and the references he put were so awesome. It was the music from Ratatouille, which is just peak vibes. So nostalgic and pretty, beautiful, classical with some jazz inspiration. I love it. And Henry Mancini's Moon River, which is also nostalgic and jazzy and classical at the same time and so beautiful. So I got really excited. I was like, I have to do this gig because this is exactly what I like to make and what I want to make. This is right up my alley. It's exactly the type of music that I was producing in my bedroom and in my university's composer computer lab in my spare time when I was like 17 and starting to dream of really being a film music composer, but also too scared to actually try to do it. Anyway, so I was like, this is for me. This is my gig. I have to send stuff over. And luckily, I had done these rescores as part of my portfolio. I just stripped the music from scenes of movies and I wrote what I thought I would have done in the place of the original music. And I had done 2 of those, which totally fit the vibe. So there's the one from the movie Unfaithful, very sweet, nostalgic music. It doesn't really have the jazz harmonies that I knew the director was looking for, but in a way, it totally fits the vibe and the mood. And then the second piece was the Thomas Crown Affair rescore. I love those movies, both the old ones and the remake with Pierce Brosnan, which is just hilarious. Anyway, I had done this mysterious, shifting score with some sort of more interesting harmonies. I think what sold it for the director was that it was kind of retro. I totally went into the 60s feel. And the movie, as it turns out, also had a nostalgic retro feel. When I watched it for the first time, the first thing I thought is, man, they don't make movies like that anymore. And it's great. It's exactly the type of stuff that I like to watch. I really like old films from whatever, the like 50s. And also kind of kooky, funny rom-coms from the 90s. And it sort of brings both vibes together. So that is what sold me on the film. Now, you're like, okay, wow, you just like sent over 2 YouTube links and then got the gig? No, that is not how it happens. They already had another composer who was interested and they told me we're maybe gonna go with her, but if you want, you can try scoring 2 scenes from the film. If we like it, then we could go for you. So it was a gamble. This is what I made for both of those scenes that I sent over before I even knew that I would work on the gig. So there's this track, and the reference was more Henry Mancini, Moon River-ish, very lush orchestration, and I tried to really lean into the jazz harmonies and just force it out because I'm not super jazzy normally, but I knew that it would sell it more if I really tried going for those harmonies. And then the second one, the reference, was the movie Shiva Baby, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's so funny. The director mentioned it, so I watched it, and I made this as a result. So after doing those tests, Evan put together a list of all the potential music he was thinking about including in the movie, and it was a lot. It was like over an hour of music, which is so much. And he asked me to make an estimate for how much I thought that it would cost to make that amount of music, and also an estimate for how much I thought it would take to record the key instruments. This is the worst part of being a freelancer, in my opinion, is like setting budgets and doing negotiations. But I'm getting better at it as I get more gigs and I have more reference points. So I got the gig, which was incredible. I was so happy. Part 2. I'm in my roommate's office because it is so sunny. Let me walk you through the phases of production because this was an intense, wild ride. So phase 1 is the first month or so, when I first get the film and I start to put ideas together and we find all the themes for the entire movie. And we try lots of different crazy genres that don't all make it into the movie. We just dived right into it and tried to get the main sound of the orchestral pieces figured out. And this was not as easy as I thought. I don't think it would be easy, but it was kind of hard. What ended up solving this issue is a phone call with Evan, the director, where he said, why don't you just try to recreate the reference? Because he had watched my YouTube videos, actually, big points that I forgot to mention in how I got the gig. He already sort of knew my personality and how I work because he watched a bunch of my production breakdown videos where I try to match a reference. Anyway, so he said, try to just recreate Moon River and Nothing to Lose, this other reference track. It's so beautiful. I woke up at 4 a.m. the next day panicking, as one does, and immediately just took my laptop, dragged in Moon River into my session, started recreating it. And I managed to hear it for the first time, to really hear it, to hear all the different parts. And it was hard because turns out the harmonies are like this tight. All the notes are super close to each other. The range of an octave, basically. The cellos are playing high, the violins are playing low. The big thing I noticed is that there was a choir singing all the string parts, just doubling the parts. And I hadn't heard that the first time I listened to Moon River, which is crazy because now I can't unhear it ever. So I got an understanding of the general orchestration style that I was trying to replicate. All I needed was just the sum of all the orchestration parts to really just steer me in the right direction. All the themes were found via this simple method. The director asked me to send him a bunch of just solo piano bits, really basic accompaniment ideas, really nice singable melody. So I made 11 of those. I just like couldn't stop. We chose a couple of them and they became the main themes for the movie. This is the track that we made. So I basically just followed the instructions I was getting and tried to match all the styles. And it was definitely, it was rough. Like, it was so much work, and I could just see the deadline approaching, and we were still figuring things out pretty slowly, and I thought, wow, how is it all gonna happen in time? So it was a lot. I worked so much and stressed about it so much, but it was also so great whenever something got approved and worked, and when I could see my music to the picture. That was really beautiful. In that time, we made so much music in so many crazy different genres with different references. Because most of this got cut out of the movie because we replaced it with basically a bunch of jazz tracks, I want to show you guys as a way of making that work not go to waste. The references were the film Chinatown and old, like, intense film noir stuff. So after that, there was the Christmas break, and honestly, everybody just got busy with the holidays, which is great because I needed to chillax and rest, which is what I did in France. I had a great time. And when I got back, we started work again, and basically they just had gotten some feedback from other people and realized that we needed to just like cut down the amount of music that we were gonna put in the film, and also to replace a bunch of the really intense stuff because it was just too much. So instead, we like made a bunch of jazz tracks, which I'll make a whole video about that because that was cool and fun and intense and scary and fun. I said fun twice because it was fun twice. Yeah, so a long compositional process with lots of shifts, turning, changing directions. But in the end, we got a soundtrack that was working enough, and I was able to make some scores for some string parts, some horn parts. There's like a sax line, some brass for the Motown theme song, which we made, which is a whole other story. Here's a tiny snippet. Isn't it crazy? I made that. Well, with the help of Honora, the incredible singer who sings on it. Yeah, I got to hear live instruments playing my music, which was really interesting. When you're only working in MIDI, you have total control over every single detail, timing-wise, intonation-wise, and that is not the case when you get a real-life human to perform your score. People just interpret things in different ways, and that's fine and cool. But it's hard not to like micromanage even after the fact. Like, I was editing things to be like slightly out of time, just the way I like it. Yeah, that's also a first. I've never gotten to record other people for a film music project before, and in the future I really would like to put more emphasis on that, and like be there in the sessions, produce them a bit more, and get the budget to get somebody else to do the mix, honestly, because it's just so much. For indie films like this, I was already doing like 6 people's jobs, you know? Doing all the composition and all the arrangements and orchestration, both in classical and jazz and like songs, Motown, having to prepare the scores and having to find the musicians and get their budgets, communicate between them and the production team, and then import all the recorded music and then edit it all to score and then mixing it and then doing all the exporting formats, which takes forever, but now I know how to do it, so that's good. Anyway. Anyway, it's great. I learned so much. But yeah, honestly, we finished the sound literally 3 days before the premiere. Like, I was sending stuff over on Sunday night, and the movie premiere was on Thursday, which is insane. And I was working on a short film at the same time, and they, like, out of the blue, got a deadline on the same day as this film, so I was losing my mind. I was like, what? No! But it's all good. It happened. I survived. I'm still here. I was really grumpy and stressed for some days, as all my friends can attest to. So we finished the movie, so I went to see it in real life, in front of hundreds of people. So let me tell you about the premiere. It's crazy. So I got to see this film. It got premiered at the Kingston Canadian Film Festival. It was one of the headliners, and it played in this big hall called the Isabel Bader Center for the Arts. And so it looked really cool, and it was packed because it was a full house. So I think around like 450 people were there watching it with me and my friends, which is crazy. We made a road trip out of it. I dragged 3 friends to come with me. It was fun. We got to see a new city. And in terms of the movie, it's crazy to see something that you worked on for so long, for so many hours, and put so much effort into, be in the real world, and real people are seeing it and laughing along to it. It's great. I'm glad that the jokes came through to everybody else as much as they worked for me, because I love this film. I think it's so funny. That's the best part about working on this movie, honestly, is that I was just having so much fun because the script was so good. It's just like joke upon joke upon joke, and it's exactly my humor. So that was super great. And I got to meet the production team, which was cool because I had never met any of them, but they all seemed like really cool, young, dedicated people. It's the beautiful part about working with teams of young people. You don't have to pretend to be anyone else, you know? You can just be totally yourself, and that's super helpful. It was great. Everybody was laughing, like hundreds of people at the same time. And then, yeah, we did all the red carpet stuff because I'm such a star now. I wore this black velvet suit. I almost wore this stripy shirt, and then I realized that it was giving Austin Powers vibes a little bit too much, and while I love Austin Powers, maybe not the time. But that was a really nice way of ending this project, getting to see it with so many other people in a new city on a road trip with my buddies. I was like, this is such a cool life that I have, that I get to have a bunch of artists friends who are available for a last minute weekday road trip, you know? And so now, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just like getting over the post-project moments. You know what I mean? You like hyper-focus on one thing for super long and you put so much energy, and then it's over all of a sudden and you're like, you gotta sit down for a second. Anyway. Okay, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, you're such a trooper. If you made it this far, actually tell me the name of your favorite movie. I wanna know. I love movies, so I wanna watch more. And sometimes I just don't know what to see, so tell me what you think. So yeah, that's the process, writing a feature film from start to finish when you're a freelance artist working from your bedroom. Incredible. The life. We do what we can with what we got. It was a beautiful experience, honestly. It was very stressful at times. And I did like hate it at times because I was still doing my part-time job, which isn't like that many hours, but it's a number of hours per week. And I was still having to do some video gigs that I'd signed up for. It was just a lot because the soundtrack was taking me more than full time, you know, on top of everything else. So I definitely had a couple mental breakdowns, struggling with my imposter syndrome, etc. But great strides were made in terms of self-confidence and being able to know, in any case, whatever they want, I can make it. And it might not come out the first try or the second try or the third try around, but as long as I have a clear picture of what's needed from me, I can do it. So that's cool. In any case, even though it was super tiring and I was hating my life some days, thinking, God, I just want to crochet or something. Can't wait to not do music anymore. But it's so meaningful though. I would just get so sad before when I wasn't doing film music because I knew I wanted to. So now I'm doing it. So I'm happy, even though I was complaining nonstop for 3 months. I will be making production breakdowns of all these crazy songs that we made. It's gonna be so much fun. So many different genres. You're gonna love it. I hope that you watch them. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Bye.